are the sons and daughters of the soul. We are resilient and forever forward-thinking. We ask for nothing else than the opportunity to live and to create the lives that we were meant to live. We want nothing but an equal chance at options and possibilities. The same possibilities and options to live out our potential as our fellow man. We want to be heard, understood, and expressive in our reality. We are the future. We are the creative. We are here.
World Financial Group offers entrepreneurs from all backgrounds the opportunity to start their own business on a level playing field. Dr. Yana Woodhouse, receiving the WCM Wall Street Pioneer Award by the United Black Wall Street of America, Inc., is one of those entrepreneurs.
I see WFG and TFA as a place where African Americans with an entrepreneurial mindset can flourish. And the bonus, we help families and serve the communities across the country.
To learn more about us, go to worldfinancialgroup.com.
Hello, and welcome once again to another fantastic Tuesday where your host, the Dress Down CEO, Tyrone Glover, is coming to you live from my hometown of Yonkers, New York. Thank you, everyone, for making the time to be here as you do every single Tuesday, and we are so grateful to have you either watching live on YouTube or on Facebook or on the variety of channels that we have here at Soul City Network, which you got to tune in, folks. You got to tune in. Soul City is a network that is doing amazing things. It has great talent. And one of those talents that I always, because we're a financial place and house that we love to take care of your finances. And I'm the credit guy. And then, as I said, I got to always plug in my favorite, my mentor, someone that I truly admire and appreciate. And you have to chime in as well to Access Wealth Nation. Yeah, I'm going to plug Access Wealth Nation because that is the overall, shall I say, your guide to financial freedom. I'm just one small little speck on that long journey that you're going to be traveling when it comes to getting that checkup from the neck up. I had to borrow it, Dr. Yana B. I had to borrow it, but I wanted to let you know she's got a fantastic book out. She'll be sending me the new one, which this one is How Money Works. Stop being a sucker. We are being played for fools and suckers, ladies and gentlemen. We are being played for fools and suckers. She's got a new one out that's directed specifically towards women. Get your check up, folks. But today we're going to be focusing on, that's Dr. Yana B, Access Wealth Nation, 6 o'clock on Thursdays on this channel. It's just a continuation from what I do to what she does, and we just keep piggybacking and sharing that love to you, what you're going to need to know. Plus, Soul City has a variety of other excellent programming that I believe you should chime into. This network that is filled with personalities and professionals who really know how to make sure that you're getting a well-rounded understanding of the community and how you can better yourselves. But this is Leverage Your Score with the host, as I said, Tyrone Glover, Dress Down CEO. I don't wear the suits and the ties anymore because it's the suit and tie guys that got us into this mess to begin with. What we're going to be focusing on today is we're going to be talking about, it's a continuation. This is now part 3. If you missed last week and you missed the week before that, there is 2 weeks prior to this one right here. This is one of my longest series that I've done thus far. And it's really all about empowering African-American wealth. All right. We're going to be focusing on changing some of these dynamics when it comes to the credit conundrum. The credit piece, as challenging as it may be, is also quite simple. And it's unfortunate that we find ourselves dealing with some of these credit mishaps. And I'm going to keep telling you, you only have to carry 10%. 10. That 100%, no. Don't carry any more than 10% because 90% of what we've been dealing with have been shenanigans, have been tomfoolery, have been snake oil salesmen giving us products and things that just has not worked, has not done what they needed them to do, plus the regulatory bodies that should be doing what they're supposed to be doing. And I say it all the time. The regulatory bodies, and it's sad to have to throw them into this mix, but they're the ones who are supposed to be regulating. And it's hard for someone to regulate when they're investing in the very same product. Or what I mean by investing, they're investors. Equifax, TransUnion, Experian. These are all entities that are for-profit entities. Credit cards, banks, all of these so-called financial pluses haven't really been doing what they need to be doing. And it's really, really sad. It's really, really sad. So as I said, if you missed last week's and you missed the week before that, I want you to go back, catch up. And again, if you're watching live, you're on point. And if you're watching at a later time frame, which it will be on YouTube and it will also be on Facebook, just hit the Soul City Network and in your Google browser or your YouTube browser, and you'll find exactly what you need from that particular location. So we're going to dive right into the subject matter, and we are now at overcoming barriers. Overcoming barriers. And with that, we're going to start with providing actionable steps and strategies for improving credit scores and financial stability, timely bill payments. Again, if you're not paying on time, you're doing yourself a disservice, even if you're paying the minimum. Reducing credit card debt, diversifying credit mix, regularly checking credit reports for errors, and seeking financial consulting and education. These 5 things alone will help you with understanding the things that you have to do. But this is a longer series, as I said. I didn't know it was going to be this long, but I'm grateful to it being this long because it allows me to dive deeper into every element that you're going to need to stay focused on. As I said, if you have missed week 1 or week 2, go back to Soul City Network on YouTube, go back to the also on Facebook, Soul City Network, and you can catch up as we maneuver through this. I believe it's probably going to end up either being 5 or 6 series, or shall I say 6 days. And if it takes a little bit longer, it takes a little bit longer, but this is wealth of knowledge, okay? Wealth of knowledge. So let's dive right into the content. All right, so here are some actionable strategies for improving credit scores and financial stability. Time bill payments. Set up automatic payments or reminders for all bills to ensure they are paid on time. If you're not doing this, it's budgeting, folks. It's budgeting. We got to go way back to the basics. Budgeting, having a system in play. I tell everybody to do your budgeting within 1 week. Stop doing what grandma, grandpa, whoever it was that taught you how to manage your bills. Stop doing what they've told you. Now, if it's working for you, continue to keep doing it. If you got that 750, 800, 810, 850, great. Keep doing it because it's working. If it's not broke, don't. If it's not broken, don't fix it. It's just a great way of how you've been managing. But if for whatever reason you still find yourself with a few hiccups, by all means, these are some proven strategies and methods that can help you with making sure that you're doing what you need to be doing to garnering the proper credit understanding. I said it before, I'm going to say it again. Credit is a rocket ship. We should not be on a roller coaster. And unfortunately, that's where we find ourselves a lot of the times, on a roller coaster. I forgot to do one thing, and I meant to say to everyone, if you haven't already, go ahead out there and send the invite. All right, send those invites out to the individuals, letting them know, hey, he's back on again. That guy's doing his thing. Share that love, share that understanding, and it also helps with the algorithms. So definitely do that for us. But as I said, set up automatic payment reminders, things that will help you with making sure that you're paying your bills on time. The best thing to do is allocate your credit to a certain activity, and also make sure you're doing it within a certain week. Put all your bills into 1 week. If you put all your bills into 1 week, I'm telling you now, it's going to make life a lot easier. It's going to make life a lot easier. It's going to make your livelihoods so much less complicated. And that's what we want. We want less complication, more simplicity. All right. Prioritize bills by due dates and importance, focusing on essentials like rent, mortgage, utilities, loan payments, anything that's connected to a contractual obligation. You really want to make sure that those things are prioritized. But everything is a priority. Everything is a priority, especially when it comes to that which could ultimately affect your positive credit rating. And I know some of us out there were probably still wondering, how do I get to that positive understanding? Well, these shows are designed to do that. It's going to help you as long as you keep coming back consistently. It's the same thing that I tell my students. Yes, I am a teacher. I teach here in Yonkers at Riverside High School, which I'm so grateful to Yonkers Public Schools giving me the opportunity to be in that realm where I keep saying it. And I'm going to constantly keep saying it over and over and over and over. Financial literacy needs to be part of the academia K through 12, which it's not. There's a lot of states that do not focus on it, and primarily in communities of color, we're not even thinking about it. It's all about this testing STEM, which I have no problem with testing, none. But why aren't we testing to make sure that we're sending qualified individuals out into that world, not just qualified to do the task, but also qualified to understand how their money truly works, right? It's barely being taught in the higher education level. Why? Because I have individuals that I coach in investing and day trading, and they're telling me the same thing. They're not even learning, not even a fraction of what I'm teaching them when it comes to this overall money scheme. We have to do better to make sure that our people have, regardless of what the political cycle may turn out to be, or if it does happen to go in a direction which we hope everybody wants, keeping democracy intact versus going to a situation where we probably don't want, which is to end up like Russia or North Korea. But if that's what the direction is that this country wants to go down, good luck for y'all. Good luck. I'm saying watch out what you wish for. But, and I've said it over and over and over, this is not a political show. This is a educational, financial show. And unfortunately, it all intertwines. It all intertwines. So last week, I was also addressed on the fact that I need to make sure that wherever I get my information from is also put out there to you. I get my information from a variety of different sources. The primary source that I get my information from is the CFPB, which is the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. And they have helped me become so much smarter and wiser. Another location that I get a lot of my information from is the Attorney Generals of my state, which is New York. Everybody else out there equally. You can get a lot of wealth and information from your attorney generals of your state. CFPB is a federal operation. So again, if you are unsure, contact me. You got to also remember there are 5 Consumer Protection Acts out there that we should, or you should at least know about. You don't have to know every ounce of what it is, but you should at least know about it. You don't know your rights. Guess what, folks? You don't have them. All right, FTC, Federal Trade Commission. There are so many resources out there. My FICO is a great resource. I don't agree with what their calculations are as to your credit score, but it's still a great resource for information. But I tell everybody, do your homework. Don't believe everything coming out of my pie hole. And I'm almost, not even almost, I can tell you with assurance that about 98% of the information that I'm giving to you has been researched, has been vetted, has been proven to have success. Okay, proven to have success. It's about the consistency of what you do once you have that information. And I'm hoping that everyone who's listening or comes back at a later time frame to listen, I'm hoping that you are applying and you are seeing the success. Help me help you by also giving me feedback, because it's only going to make the process for you that much easier. And it's also going to give me the reassurance that the information that I'm giving out there, individuals are truly taking to heart and they're applying it. 98% is a pretty good average to have. All right, so we talked about that time bill payment, making sure that you set up automatic payments, and then also prioritizing bill due dates. Put all your bills into 1 week. You do not want to be managing your bills from the first of the month to the 31st or the 28th, 29th if it's a leap year, or 30 if it's a odd or even number of a month. You want to be making sure that you're paying your bills all in 1 week. It's going to free you up for 3 weeks to make sure that that household is running accordingly. And then you're probably going to end up seeing that, wow, I have more time on my hands. And also equally, you're probably going to start seeing that, oh my goodness, I'm overspending with using two spending techniques that we should now slowly start weaning ourselves off of. Debit and cash, debit and cash, debit and cash. Debit and cash are not building tools. They're not. The only building tool in the financial world is credit. The only building tool. Yes, can you do a lot with cash? Of course you can. Can you do a lot with debit? Probably yes, equally so, depending on that mindset. But it's not building anything. It's just basically telling the individuals that you're giving your money to, thank you so much, please come again. We need to start focusing on building transaction methods. Credit is the only building transaction method. You have unsecured products and you have secured products. We are working very, very diligently to make sure that both of those products serve the consumer in the manner in which they're supposed to. Unsecured basically means that you get a loan from an entity and that entity can charge you interest and all of the other associations that come with that unsecured debt. It's unsecured. But if you decide to go about addressing your credit concerns or making the way to bettering your credit situation, and you decide to go with a secured product, now Congress, all of you smart people out there who are claiming that you're smarter than we are, I need you to answer this question. How is it, this is for Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian, this is for all of the banks, this is for all of the financial institutions, this is for CEOs and COOs of those financial institutions, CFOs, presidents, vice presidents, everyone in that upper echelon. Answer this question for me. I've posed it so many times to you, and none of you have taken me up on that challenge. How is it that you can charge us interest on a product that you have not given to us in a form of a loan? If I'm securing it with my own resources, how is it that you can charge me interest? Somebody's got to come back with an answer. This is for the CFPB. This is for the FTC. This is for the attorney generals. These are for all these regulatory bodies and primarily for Congress, because you're the ones who give these individuals the opportunity to function. You tell them that, hey, you got laws, you got guidelines, you got best practices, and this is how we need you to go about doing it, but yet no one has yet to answer that question. And it's going to become a major issue at some point because we, the consumer, are now fed up with the shenanigans. All right, so there's that question for you. It's going to always be posed, just like every other important item that we're going to be talking about today. But that's one that I need someone who claims to be smarter than me. How is it that institutions, financial institutions, are charging us interest on items that we have not borrowed resources from? We're securing it with our own resources. Now, I get that you can charge me a annual fee, but you can't charge me interest on items that I have not borrowed. Or there's another one coming up later on down the road. But reducing credit card debt, create a budget to track expenses and identify areas where spending can be reduced. If you get away from using 3 methods of transactions, focus on that one building method, I can guarantee you, you're probably going to find that you're able to reduce spending by that manner. All right, these are all methods. These are all proven methods that will help you with managing and making sure that you're on that trajectory of a rocket ship, not a roller coaster. We need to get off the credit roller coaster and get on the credit rocket ship. Right? Develop a debt repayment plan. Focus on paying off higher interest credit cards first while making minimum payments on others. Now, again, it all depends on the circumstance. If you have enough resources where you can pay off the higher one and then the minimum payments on the smaller ones, do it that way. I would suggest, me personally, depending on that circumstance again, if you have smaller ones that you can knock out real quick and start allocating them to certain activities, then I would go that route first, save the bigger one for later, meaning continue to keep making that minimum payment on that bigger one, but wait until you see if you have 7, 8, 9, whatever the amount of credit products that you have. Then I would wait and see how much am I able to free up over that first month, that second month, probably even that third month. Take it into a 90-day type of a situation and then reevaluate your circumstances again. I know they're talking about making sure, but that's the common way. Remember, we also have gone the traditional way of education. We got that high school diploma, we got that degree, we found the job, and then we started working. We went and thought we were going to be something, some form of a big wig in some particular company. Well, guess what now, folks? There's new unconventional manners and ways out there. Entrepreneurs, online vendors. There are so many ways to make a living. And going back to a hostile workplace, a lot of us aren't choosing that any longer. There's been something called the Great Resignation, where we saw roughly around, I think it's roughly again, I think it's somewhere around 15 to 20 million individuals left those hostile workplaces. I was one of them who decided to split ways with corporate America because of all of the malfeasance, all of the shenanigans, all of the tomfoolery, all of the games and gimmicks that they keep doing, not only to their workers, but to their consumers, to their vendors. We keep talking about inflation, and we want to point the finger to someone. We want to point it to our governors. We want to point it to our higher elected officials like the president. You can't point fingers at those types of individuals. You know, you should point the fingers at one, yourself, and two, to the businesses that you keep giving your bread to. If Tide went up $4 or $5 extra, maybe you should stop buying Tide. Maybe you should really think about, well, it's not the president, or it's not my governor, or it's not my mayor who's raising these prices. It's actually the industry that we keep making richer and richer and richer and richer. But when you know nothing, or when you know little about finance, you're going to have this whole blame game scenario going on. It's exactly what they want. They want us conquer and divide, and they want us to be the victims. And we're really not a victim. We just keep constantly falling into the trap or getting played by our own ignorance. Not calling anyone ignorant. I'm just saying, unfortunately, we don't know everything that we need. And you're not going to need to know everything, but you need to know someone who knows a method and manner to help you with making sure that you're getting the most of your dollar, or for your dollar. And if not, I said it before, and I'm going to constantly keep saying it. Call Tyrone. Erykah Badu has given everyone permission to call Tyrone. So, all right, we just developed that repayment plan, paying off the higher. All depends on your circumstance. You can pay off the lower and then work your way to the higher. But making sure whichever ones that you can't bring down, you are still making the minimum payment. The minimum payment's like 12 to 25%. It's not going to give you a significant bang for your buck. But I'm telling you right now, you can knock out 3, 4, 5 and get that to that percentage that you're supposed to, because there are percentages that the industry looks at. We know them to be 30%. That's 30% for payment history. We also know that payment history is 35%. Utilization is 30%. These two work together. They work together. There are also 3 other areas, and we're going to probably touch on those in this particular session right now. So consider consolidating debt with a balance transfer to a card with a lower interest rate if feasible. And I can tell you right now, there are a lot of companies out there that really would love to have your business. If you are in a situation where you've attempted with your current creditor, and that creditor keeps giving you, well, I don't know, and so forth and so on, I think it's time to just say, c'est la vie. If you attempted once, if you've attempted twice, you've attempted 3 times, and they're still not willing to budge, it's time for you to say goodbye. All right, goodbye. I'll help you with making sure that not only do you say goodbye, but that you find another company that you can get with that's going to give you that 0 for 12 months, 18 months, 24 months. That's going to help you with making sure that you're putting more money back into your pocket. It's all about you, consumers. It's all about you, consumers. For decades, guess who it's been about? It's been about the businesses. Robbing, stealing, plundering, taking advantage of us, the vulnerable consumer, knowing that we 60, 70, 80% of it, our money comes in and it turns right back around and goes right back out. It comes in, we don't even have enough of it to hold on to. We get it, we turn around, and we put it right back into the economy. 6 hours in African American communities. Our money stays in our community 6 hours. That's a tragedy. Because in other ethnic groups, it stays in those communities up to 21 to 28 days. We got to do better, folks. And the only way to do better is to be tuning into shows like this, tuning into shows like Access Wealth Nation, tuning into financial shows that are all about your bottom line, not about our pockets. And there's a lot of individuals out there, unfortunately, they're talking about their own pockets. So they're giving you the sweeties, they're giving you the honeys, they're giving you all of these so-called sugar rushes, but they're really not paying off. They're taking that money from you. They're willing to take that money from you all the time. Oh yeah, join this, do this, so forth and so on. These are done specifically for free for you so that you can benefit. All you have to do is stay consistent. Now, we are a business. There's no question about that. So if you do require our services, but we're going to walk you through making sure that you understand, you're still going to have to do your part. We can't do it all. You're going to have to do your part. I do my part, or we as an entity does our part. And then we find that synergy. Guess who benefits? We all benefit. All right. So again, if it is feasible, seek out credit cards where you can transfer those balances to lower interest rates. Avoid accruing additional credit card debt by using cash or debit for purchases whenever possible. Avoid it. I just told you, cash and debit is not a building method. Credit is the only building method. Credit is the only building method. Say it with me, folks. Credit, is the only building method. Thank you very much. All right. But that's true. Credit is the only building method. When you give someone cash or you give someone debit, guess what they're doing? They're depositing it into their account. And guess what they're probably doing with that too? If you're dealing with a business, they got that A1 credit. They got that top tier credit. And you're still giving them your hard earned when you could be using that to improve your credit situation. Credit is the only building transaction method. Avoid using cash and debit whenever possible. All right, diversifying credit mix. So I told you we have the payment history 35. We have the utilization 30. Any school that I've ever been in, and I've been on 5 of the 7 continents, visited quite a few schools while I've traveled the globe, and every school that I've gone to has a score that 65 is your minimum standings. So if you can reach that minimum with making sure that you have your utilization and your your credit, your payment history, you have those 2 taken care of, the other 3 are going to happen anyway. They're going to happen anyway. All right. One of these 3 is your credit mix. Your credit mix roughly is about 10 to 15%. All right. So if you take that 10 to 15, you add that to already the 65 that you have, you can already see upwards trajectory. History is another area, as well as inquiry is another area. So those other 2 areas, they're going to add a few more points. Total, it's 100. You're not going to get 100 because the industry has set it up so that you can't get the best score. And they've also set it up so that those who have had problems in the past will never see a reasonable understanding in that growth in that credit profile situation. So it's up to us to make sure that you are highly educated in this space of credit. All right. So we want to make sure that if you do not have a mix of credit types, that's credit cards, installment loans, mortgages, consider diversifying by responsibly taking on different types of credit. Responsibly being the operative word. Be responsible, folks. Be responsible. If you are unsure how to, call Tyrone. Reach out to Soul City Network. Reach out to our Access Wealth Nation. Reach out. There's no reason why you should still be struggling when we have the professionals, the experts out here doing what we do to make sure that you have what you need. It's just that simple. And we're going to constantly keep doing it. We're going to do this not only into the next political cycle, but we're going to continuously keep doing it depending on whomever might occupy that White House. Doesn't matter. It does not matter. We are going to make sure that our consumers are smart, wise, savvy, intelligent, bright, brilliant. We already know you're beautiful, but we're going to make sure that you have all of those components that allow for you to, again, get off the roller coaster, the ebbs and flows of credit, and focus on putting you on that rocket ship. Right? Use credit strategically for small purchases that can be paid off in full each month to determine responsible credit use. Now, I am not going to disagree wholeheartedly with that paying off, because paying off, depending on what type of credit situation you have, you don't want to pay it off. If you got an 850, 799, 810, if you're up in that higher 700 range, yes, paying things off probably would serve you well, because you're at a position where you have leverage. But if you're down in that lower echelon or zero, or again, the one that I keep finding, a lot of the consumers, which they say they're unbankable. I'm still trying to figure out what is unbankable. I know it is because of the words, but how do you say a consumer is unbankable? They work, they make money, and they should have a means to be able to put that into a financial institution that's going to allow for them to withdraw. All a financial institution is a housing location. If the financial institutions haven't done what they needed to do to protect their house, that's on them, not on the consumer. So every consumer should be bankable. There should not be third and fourth party financial situations out there. Check cashing places, payday loans. These are all gimmicks. And some of us, even myself, have used it. And what did it end up doing for us? Not very much. It actually created a bigger problem. So we need to make sure that these particular situations, these predators, we need to make sure that those situations are gone. But when you live in the United States, where any business or any idea can be turned into a business, and then it gets too big that the regulators can't regulate it anymore, here we find ourselves. We have to do a better job, and we have to hold those who are giving the privilege to operate a business in this country. We have to hold them equally accountable. Their best practices are not best practices. They might be best practices in their eyes and in their organization, but when it comes to us, the consumer, they're not best practices. They're actually flawed to so many different degrees. And if you don't believe me, again, I can direct you in a multitude of areas as to where you could look and probably be shocked and amazed. All right, shocked and amazed. So it's really important, again, if you're going to pay them off in full, make sure that you're checking. You wait for at least 5 to 7 business days before you resume transactions with that particular credit product. If you don't wait that time frame, you're basically setting yourself up for further failure, because as they know, we consumers, we get our money, we pay our bills, and then those of us who reside in that 60, 70, sometimes 80% with those low credit scores that are reaching just barely the 700, we need our products or we need our money almost immediately after we pay those bills. So we can't wait that 5 to 7 business days. We now have to make it a priority that we do wait, because if we wait, then we can wait and see as the information is put in the system in the manner in which it should. Our biggest failure is that we entrust individual entities to do what they're supposed to do, but they have yet to do it. You don't believe me? Look at any type of congressional financial committee, as they have grilled the CEOs of Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian. And every time they grill them, they tell them, don't do it again. But what happens when you give someone habitual, or when you give the habitual liars and cheaters and scoundrels, what happens when you give them the power over and over and tell them, don't do it, 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 don't do it. I can keep going on. For decades, they've been telling them, don't do it, stop doing it, don't do it, stop doing it. And guess what they have done? Only embolden them to do it more. Why? Because there's a write-off process there. There's something that they can turn around. Oh, it's a loss to my business. So if I get fined a fee of $1 million or $5 million or $10 million, like most of these financial institutions have by one of the organizations that I mentioned earlier, which is the CFPB. CFPB has collected billions And I'm still trying to figure out, where does that money go? Hey, CFPB, where does the billions of dollars go that you get? Because I'm now 57. I've yet to receive a check from you. I've yet to receive a check from you. And I've written you and addressed so many situations. One of the times I've addressed something with you, and it's sad to have to say this because I'm making you look a little bit bad, but I've addressed it with an American company, and I got a response from Canada. I don't live in Canada. And their response was from Canada, oh, there's no individual or there's no mailing address for this individual in Canada. Of course not. But why would I get a response? And why would the CFPB close out the situation that I was addressing with an American company? Why would they close it out with, oh, sufficient response, even though the response came from Canada? Come on, CFPB, come on. But this is what we're dealing with. This is what we're dealing with. If applicable, consider adding an installment loan, such as a car loan or personal loan, to your credit profile, making timely payments to showcase your ability to manage different types of credit. And that's that credit mix, making sure that you have a nice mixture of different types of credits. You would be shocked to know that you have somewhere between 23 and 28 credit scores. 23 and 28 credit scores. Insane. Imagine taking one test and having it being graded by 23 to 28 different people. Now, if they all came up with the same conclusion, that would be great. But unfortunately, guess what happens? They all come up with different understandings because of how this system was designed to allow these businesses to write their own algorithms and use their own parameters to do what? Mess with us, the consumers. It's got to stop, folks. It's got to stop. And it's only going to stop when we continue to keep highlighting some of the malfeasance that's going on in this particular realm, in this space. Regularly checking credit reports for errors. Regularly checking your credit report for error. 4 out of 5 consumers have an error in their on their credit report. 4 out of 5. That's unacceptable. If you had an airline that 4 out of 5 times it made it safely to its destination, I guarantee you wouldn't fly with that airline. I guarantee you would not fly with that airline. So why are we doing the exact same thing when it comes to our credit reports? Not checking, not doing the one thing that they already know that we will not do, which is check our credit. All right, request free credit reports from the 3 major credit bureaus. And I always leave the word in there because I want to always highlight it that these are not bureaus. Back in the 60s and the 50s, when these establishments came to bear, they were called bureaus, or they adopted the names of bureaus, but these aren't even agencies. I don't even want to give them that title. These are just for-profit companies, nothing more. Gouging, plundering, stealing, robbing, you name it, that's what they're doing. Don't believe me? Pull up or type into your Google browser, your Safari browser, your internet browser, whatever it is that you do your searches, pull that up and find out for yourself. Type in fines, fees of Equifax TransUnion Experian. And I guarantee you, yes, you'll probably be shocked and amazed, but you're probably thinking, wow, this has been going on as long as I've been an adult. I've been an adult now for 40, what do you get, 18? So my next birthday, it would be 40 years. Be 40 years. I've been an adult for 40 years. Probably wasn't doing as an adult should because I didn't have the knowledge or the skills or the understanding, being that, as I said before, some of these understandings that we get from our academia process is not there. And that's why we need to be focusing on making sure that K through 12 higher education and also businesses focus on making sure that they have not consumers, but workers who understand what and how money works. You want people in those stores, you want them managing and doing the proper thing when it comes to your money. So why not make sure that they also understand the proper thing to do when it comes to their money? All right. So review your credit report carefully for inaccuracies, such as incorrect information, unauthorized inquiries, or identity theft. All right. But as I said, these are not bureaus. Equifax, Experian, TransUnion, they're not bureaus, but you can get your credit report free weekly. weekly for free at annualcreditreport.com. You can get it weekly for free. And I'm hoping that they keep it like that, because that does us a huge service versus this once a year, which does us and has been doing nothing but a disservice. So again, review each report carefully for inaccuracies, such as incorrect information. That could be your name, that could be your mailing address, that could be your social security, that could be a variety of things. My name is Tyrone Glover. There is no middle initial. So if I ever see anything on my credit report with a middle initial, guess what? Got to come off. I live at a particular address. That address is the one thing that's on my driver's license or my ID. The only address that needs to be on my credit report is the one that I currently reside at. Again, I've already asked the big ones, the smart ones, the intelligent ones. Why do we need to have all those other ones if it's not associated with a credit product? Needs to come off. The telephone numbers needs to come off. Your names, if there's something incorrect about your name, needs to come off. And what my understanding has always been is that if it's not directed or connected to a credit product, it should be a simple phone call. A simple phone call from a willing partner. A lot of the times, these are outsourced to other countries. So we have individuals that don't speak our language. So there's always that challenge. Then we get individuals who think that they're smarter than we are. Then there's that challenge. And I always challenge them with a basic credit question. What do you know about credit? And a lot of them try to give you this song and dance. And that once they start going into a space where I already know they're not going to be doing me a service, I'm already not dismissing them, but I'm telling them nicely, hey, you're not going to be able to help me. Please pass me off to a supervisor. And that's how that works, a supervisor. I want somebody who's a decision maker. I don't want to keep going back and forth with underlings who don't know enough about credit to begin with. So that's another strategy that you can use to make sure that you're getting a person who can make a decision versus somebody who's just going to keep you on hold or give you that so-called, oh, we'll get back to you, or expect a email, something of that nature. A name, a removal, an address removal, or a telephone removal, that doesn't require any significant investigation. I'm the individual telling you what it is and who I am. So it should be a quick and easy removal, as it has been for many of our clients. But we already know the delay, the obstruction, the prevention game that these entities will continuously keep playing. All right. Dispute any errors found by contacting the credit bureaus, reporting the inaccuracies, and providing supporting documents if necessary. Supporting documents of an address change or an address is your ID. So send them your ID, not your physical ID, but a copy of your ID. If it is a telephone number, it's really, again, there's no way of determining whether or not this is your telephone number other than you telling them. So there's a lot of things that you do not have to send these entities. It should be able to be done with just a simple phone call, talking to a customer service willing participant. And you got to keep doing it, got to keep doing it, got to keep doing it, got to keep doing it as long as you need to, but make sure that you're documenting every single call. And this also should be done when you're doing your bills. But in that 1 week, decide what you're going to be doing and how you're going to be managing your bill payment cycle. 1 week, put everything into 1 week. Preferably, if you can do it all in one day, that'd be great. Dedicate, allocate that time. Make that time. Don't try to find that time, because I've been telling all of my students and everybody that I've been talking to since I've been doing this game, where can you find time? Where? I have searched and searched and searched and searched and searched, and I have not found any more than 24 hours. It goes into the next day. So that's not gaining more time when it goes into the next day. That's just starting over a new day. So you have 24 hours. I have 24 hours. You have 5 weekdays. I have 5 weekdays. You have 2 weekends. I have 2 weekends. Need I say more? Put all of that into 1 week, eliminate it for 1 week. That frees up 3 weeks for you to enjoy watching your money do what it needs to do. It helps you with making sure that you got everything taken care of, crossing those T's and dotting those I's. All right. If they need supporting documents, don't hesitate to send them. It's okay. It's okay. Trust me when I tell you, the bad guys, based off of all the information that we've been giving for decades now, They already know what they need to know about you. And this is also a way for you to make sure that nobody is doing anything that could potentially harm you. Wow, you didn't think about it that way either, huh? That's why we do what we do. Right? Seeking financial counseling and education. I'm going to talk about education for as long as I have breath in these lungs. That we need to make sure that our consumer is highly educated when it comes to financial products. Seeking financial counseling, again, there's certified financial planners out there. There are legal eagles out there. And I always say to everyone, make sure you know who you're dealing with. Make sure you know who's out for you, not out for their pocket. As much as I have a somewhat of a now slight disdain for lawyers in the legal profession, watching a lot of what I've been watching over the last few months with, again, trials that are on our airwaves, my own circumstances with dealing with lawyers, I'm taken back by how they agreed to settling, not arguing, but settling. They're still getting paid whatever it is. They're still getting paid whatever it is that you agree. And most of these lawyers want something upwards of $800, $1,700 an hour. An hour. To do what? To settle? Oh, I forget that they go in front of their colleagues who are now judges, and then they make some form of an agreement. And then we, the consumer, oh, yeah, as long as it's taken care of, out of the way. You can do this for far less. You're a pro se litigant. And the courts, by all understandings, have to treat you with this same amount of respect. They even try to demean you. Well, you're not a lawyer, and I'm not trying to be a lawyer. I don't play one on TV, nor am I trying to be one, but I am an informed citizen. I am someone who probably is even smarter than lawyers because most of these lawyers are general practitioners. General practitioners. They barely know anything about specific financial obligations, contractual obligations. They're using their basic lawyer skills to try to argue something just to get the desirable outcome for their bottom line. We need to stop using entities that do not have the specificity in this particular area. I'm giving it to you just like we're supposed to, straight with no chaser. So be careful of whom you get into a contractual relationship with. Sometimes it's best to do your own homework and then seek somebody who understands your situation because you're going to be able to explain it to them and they have to listen. If they're giving you the rush to run around to try to get that bread, then that's telling you everything that you need to know about that entity. Stop throwing your money to situations all because they have that ESQ. All right, that Esquire. They think they're bigger and badder and better. They're not. They put on their pants in the same way we put on ours, one leg after the other. They bleed the same type of red blood that we bleed. Okay? Stop thinking that these individuals are smarter, savvier, wiser, more intelligent. They're not. They're grifters, just like the individuals that we see currently in Congress. Grifters, grifting. The great grift is now on. I said there was a great resignation. Well, there's a great grift, and it's been going on for some time now. Right? So be careful. Explore resources offered by local nonprofit organizations, community centers, or online platforms that provide financial counseling and education services. You're talking to somebody who really enjoys what they do. I love what I do. And I say it all the time. When you love what you do, it is never work. So get back into enjoying making sure that your money is working for you. Right? Attend workshops. I offer a workshop every Saturday. I'm so grateful again, as I say always, I'm grateful to Yonkers Public Schools for giving me the opportunity to, I'm already teaching your youth. I'm already making sure that our kids from K through 12 have the understanding of how money works. And I'm also teaching and coaching those from that higher education level as well. And if given the opportunities, I would love to go into some of these businesses and make sure that their workers equally understand the importance of, one, being able to read your pay stub. Are you even being paid properly? If you don't know how to read it, how do you ever know that you're being paid properly? There's a bunch of pieces that we still need to tackle. And I'm almost certain that given the opportunities, given the space, we can easily eliminate millions of consumers from these financial hardships just by making sure that they are educated in this space. All right, so attend workshops Saturday, 1 o'clock, Yonkers Public Library. Come down, visit us. We're going to be, hopefully, over the next couple of months, making sure that we can Zoom these out, or the platform that I like to use right now is Google Meets, because it is nice, free, easy access to Zoom. Nothing wrong with Zoom. Nothing wrong with any of the communication platforms that are out there that allow for us to see each other. It's another thing that I think businesses should focus on as well. I like the fact that they're going automated, but I'd love to be able to see a person's face. We have these devices that do everything for us, but yet it still hasn't solved the fact that maybe instead of talking to someone like the old ways we've always been talking to someone, maybe it'd be nice to see my face so I can see, so you can see how sincere it is. I need you to be when it comes to my circumstance. I can see how sincere you are taking my information. Because if you're looking all around, trying to talk to Susie, trying to talk to Tom, and oh, I wish this person would get, your facial expression tells me everything. Oh, I forgot to tell you again, I'm a teacher. So guess who I sit in front of all the time? Students, all the time. I'm also someone who does public speaking. Guess who I sit in front of all the time? Consumers. I'm also someone who loves to coach. I'm someone who enjoys that face-to-face understanding. And your facial expressions tell me everything about whether or not you're understanding the content in which is being provided to you. So customer service. So if you're going to spend billions of dollars on automated processes, maybe you might want to cut back a little bit and stop giving AI your bread and maybe give it to a human being who can solve a lot of your problems. Oh, by the way, you're going to make more money too. Oh, you don't think you are? Corporate America has trained me very, 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 very well. 30 years, 19 different companies. 30 years, 19 different companies. On top of that, 5 different unions. Oh, I'm ready to tackle any challenge. We get our presidents who are always talking about, oh, on day one. Well, guess what? I'm an individual who can help solve and resolve on literally day one. All right, so again, attend workshops, seminars, or counseling sessions focused on credit management, budgeting, debt, repayment strategies, and other financial literacy topics. Work with a certified financial consultant or advisor who can provide personalized guidance and support in developing a comprehensive financial plan tailored to your goals and circumstances. Did you hear what that last part of it said? Tailored to who? Your goals, your circumstances. If anyone starts to talk about, oh, what you need to give them, then they're not focusing on your goals or your circumstances. They're rushing through to get to, oh, this is how much you're going to pay me on a monthly basis or whatever the terms and conditions may be. You might want to, again, go out, seek some additional understandings before you sign on that dotted line. But once you sign on that dotted line, it's a contractual obligation. That means they have to do what they also have told you that they're going to do. And if they choose not to, there are a couple companies out there, don't want to name them, but you know who I'm talking about if you've ever dealt with this type of situation. I'm going to make it abundantly clear as well. You can't fix credit. You can't repair credit. So all of you out there, you content providers, you noise makers, you can't fix credit. You can't repair credit. Credit is a behavior. It's something that you've been learned or taught from an early age based on whoever you've been getting the majority of your information from. It is a behavior. You have to recover from certain behaviors. Alcoholism, you have to recover from it. Spending addiction, you have to recover from it. Anytime you get injured in something, you have to recover. We have been financially damaged, so we need to recover. Nothing hard about that, is it? Pretty simple. When you have somebody smart, intelligent, wise, savvy, not about the noise, but about the recovery of your, again, goals and circumstances. All right, by implementing these actionable steps and strategies consistently, individuals can gradually improve their credit scores, reduce debt, and enhance their overall financial stability over time. It's important to approach these efforts with patience, discipline, and a long-term perspective, as significant improvement may take time to achieve. All right, significant improvement may take time to achieve. This is not YouTube where you get spotted and then, oh, well, next thing you know, you got a TV show. Next thing you know, you got an Instagram, you're an Instagram influencer, or you're wherever it is that we get this quick notion from. Quickness is not necessarily saying that it's a bad thing, but it's also in these particular situations not a good thing, because that quickness, these illegal activities that some of these so-called credit repair companies and so-called credit fixing companies, recovery is the only way to do it in the manner in which it's going to give you that patience, that understanding that it's being done properly. It's going to give you that discipline. That discipline that I talk about is making sure that you're waiting that time frame. That's a discipline. Once you pay your bills, you have to wait that 5 to 7 business days before you can use that credit product again, because it has to be reported. You go out and use it prior to, you brought down your utilization. So if you had it maxed and you brought it down to that 70%, well, that's the industry standard. But if you bring it down just a little bit further, again, look how much you freed up. You were maxed and then you brought it down to the industry standard, but you brought it down a little bit lower based off of the information that we constantly keep giving you. If your score is not at a certain level, then you have to play the game. Das Leben ist ein Spiel und wir sind nur die Kandidaten. I speak fluent German. So life is a game and we are the candidates, and we have to stop allowing the rule makers, shall we say, to keep moving the goalposts every time we get closer and closer to success. All right, again, improve your circumstances, your situations, not my bottom line, yours. All right, so investing in community wealth. I know we got about 4 minutes, so we're going to stop it right here. I know there might be a few questions out there, because when I get into it, folks, you can tell that I'm like a water spigot. Once you turn me on, it's almost impossible to stop until you literally turn me off. But I'm all about your success. I'm all about every single consumer who wants financial success to achieve financial success. And you got to want it more than those who are offering it to you. So we're about 3 minutes out. And before we wrap this up, I'm going to put it out there. Anybody got any questions? You can pose a question right here on StreamYard. You can pose a question on YouTube. You can pose a question on Facebook. I'm open for anyone who has a question. And I'll keep going until we obviously get any questions that might come up. But we're going to stop it right here. I need you to make sure that you chime in again every single Tuesday until this is wrapped up. All right. So this is now the 3rd series of this particular understanding of empowering African Americans. We're going to continuously making sure that we are empowering not just African Americans, but communities of color. We know that there's this major conquer and divide circumstances that's been out there for centuries now, but we can't keep falling victims to the narrative of those oppressors. We have to focus on telling the oppressors, thank you, but no thank you. We now can take the wheel. We now know how to drive and steer ourselves back into financial stability. We do not have to constantly keep thinking that there's somebody out there who's brighter, smarter, more intelligent. I'm not brighter. I'm not smarter. I'm not more intelligent. You know what I am? I'm more informed. Okay, that's all I am. I'm more informed. I have valuable information that could take the next individual to whatever financial level that they want to go, because I am informed. And my job is to make sure that you are equally informed. I've already said it. I'm in your schools. Thanks to Yonkers Public Schools, I'm already in my community doing what I need to be doing for our youth. I've attempted to help our adults, but y'all grown. The adults are grown. There's almost nothing that you can do for an unwilling participant. And that's unfortunate for a lot of adults because they are grown. But for those of you who want a willing participant, it's now time. All right. So again, my name is Tyrone Glover. I am the Dress Down CEO of Leverage Credit Recovery. give you a little bit of that information. So please chime back in so that we can, again, help you get to that next level. Many thanks from all of you. If you have still questions, please drop us a line. You can send me a text, 805-428-9424. You can email me at leveragecreditrecovery@gmail.com. And we're using something called Linktree. That's linktr.ee/leverage credit recovery. Linktree is an awesome platform. I love it because it allows for you to put a variety of different items on your Linktree, and you can serve many consumers with that awesome product. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, thank you so much for making the time. I wish you and yours safe travels. I wish you and yours a wonderful, amazing week, the rest of the week. And I look forward to seeing you back here on Tuesdays. My name is Tyrone Glover, the Dress Down CEO of Leverage Credit Recovery. Thank you so much, everybody. America, be safe.